Hello and welcome to the Cat and the Parrot. Right, Anne-Marie, I want to talk about something which is probably a lot of people feel a bit awkward about, and that when is identity a safeguarding issue? And I'll kind of talk to you mainly because sometimes I'm really worried about putting my foot in it, saying the wrong thing, or maybe I don't identify and I haven't walked in people's shoes, so I worry that maybe I'm getting the wrong kind of idea about things, and I'm nervous that I'm going to say the wrong thing, so sometimes I don't say anything at all, but I'm also nervous that maybe other people say things wrong. So if we go for uniform, for example, that's a really good starting point, an easy 5-minute topic about uniform, and maybe hair or style of hair. When do we start to say that if they don't meet a uniform criteria, are we then breaching perhaps an identity? When is it going to be a safeguarding issue?
So I know you see me and my curls since last year, as in before I've got naturally curly hair in the kind of mixture that I have in my makeup, and I would wash my hair and then I'd automatically blow dry it or do something where I felt in the corporate world I was in, I didn't see anyone who looked like me who had curls. I saw people look like me, but a lot of them also were kind of, you know, in the corporate world where we expected to be and fit the part. Yeah. So I was guilty of that. And then last year, I kind of rechecked myself and thought, actually, this is my identity and these are my natural curls and I love my curls. So in that, what was important for me, I suppose, and also as a reflection as a child, being a person growing up in a predominantly, you know, white British area, white British school in the 70s, you know, there's about 3 black people in the whole school, blah, blah, blah. There was always something where you're giving a very subtle message about what is acceptable, what is beauty and what isn't. Hence, you don't see people that are beautiful, meaning they are there, but they're not in front of you. Yeah. So right now, for example, I've got, so if I was told that my natural curls, didn't fit the policy. I personally, you know, as a child, how would that make me feel? It wouldn't make me feel good. It wouldn't make me feel, it'd make me feel excluded. It'd make me feel like as a person, I'm not accepted in society. I don't fit the rules, I don't conform, and I can't change it because I'm born that way. So I definitely have seen over the years, whether it's people wearing locks, Rastafarians wear dreadlocks as part of, you know, like Jewish, you know, Sikh. We've got lots of religions that actually have the whole thing of what hair is. So one could argue you couldn't discriminate that, but we have heard recently in the last, I think, 2 years of a few schools who've excluded children for dreadlocks, you know, for locks in that sense. And then also for haircuts, for partings, you know, that are too short. I can't see what that has to do with learning in the sense of, I can see if you dye your hair bright purple, I can understand some things about conforming and about society, but when it comes to natural protective characteristics in that sense, I think you're absolutely right. It's a very sensitive subject, but I do believe that actually we have to appreciate and respect identity and actually celebrate diversity, celebrate difference. So I know when I do wear my hair curly, a lot of people with curls identify with me and are proud to say they do look beautiful, because it's only in the last year we've seen more curly people, hair-wise. And sometimes it's about the confidence of being accepted for that. So going back to your policy, if it was too long and it was health and safety, I get it, I could put it up, but not for the fact of just having natural hair. So that is definitely
people need to have safe spaces to be them, and that's where it's safeguarding, isn't it? It's as long as they have a safe space to be them, that's absolutely fine, isn't it? So if you are excluding them and not giving them a safe space to be themselves, then you question whether it's a safe school, that they can't be themselves and they can't identify with who they are.
So if I reverse it, Kerry, so that's like you going to somewhere where they're predominantly not people like you, maybe Africa, maybe Asia. Say more Africa because the nature of hair, in the sense of Asian people have similar hair, straight, okay? So I say Africa, where the predominant people would have Afro hair. So you're going to a school and they're saying to you, I'm sorry, Kerry, but your hair doesn't fit the policy because it's straight. You'd have to put a kink in it in order to be, you know, for it to be part of our policy. So you'll know, but I can't help having straight hair. Oh my gosh, I'll have to kind of do something where I deny myself of my beauty for the policy. So of course it does affect your self-esteem. Of course your self-esteem affects your identity, and then that's when it can become a safeguarding stroke mental health well-being, in the sense of you don't feel beautiful about yourself, you get low mood. And even language. So when people have language and conversations, people still try to touch my hair. I would never try to touch your hair. Why am I going to? So all those little things, the why. Right.
So I'm going to be quite controversial now. So are people touching your hair because they think it's lovely and gorgeous and like, wow, look at your curls? And so do you see what I'm saying? So why, I mean, I get you wouldn't touch my hair, it's old and grey and I'm dyeing it like, and it's breaking. But anyway, I get what, but so now, can you see now people will be nervous about even mentioning your hair, just in case?
Mention it. So massive tip would be, so mention it. If you got, you always say, well, I love your curls, they're beautiful. So I know an English woman who's got similar hair. And actually, I always just say, I love your curls. And I have to say to her, my hair was straight and I used to blow dry it, I love your curls. And actually my hair's like yours. And she felt so good, as in, oh yeah, thank you. For years I didn't wear it curly. But the point I'm making here is going back to that point. When you say to someone and you comment or compliment them on something that is natural, that for years has been denied, it's very, very good feeling, in the sense of finally I've been accepted. So the touching is irrelevant, meaning why? I mean, it's a bit like Velcro. So I've always felt like how people touch Velcro. This whole thing about why. If you're a hairdresser, of course you need to touch my hair for purity. I get that, the texture. But otherwise, the average person, whether it's afro hair, curly hair, even your hair, we shouldn't touch. And I think for many years, I have seen people touching Black children's hair. And I say, or children of any culture, but generally, predominantly, again, afro hair. And I don't know the why. So for me, that's just completely not acceptable, because it's personal space. B, it's actually, it's not a toy. It's actually my hair. It's part of my body. So I think there is something there about, like what you said, saying it in a safe space where you're actually complimenting, celebrating difference, but you don't need to touch it. But also you'll need to know, so if I was a boarder at your school, you'd need to understand how I need to maintain my hair. I'd have to I sleep with protective wear, i.e. a silk scarf. I wash it maybe once a week, where I've got to put oils in it. If I go swimming, it has to go in a cap. So there's lots of things you'd have to understand in my identity in order for me to manage my hair, which is standard in the sense of ordinary times for me.
I mean, I've been in quite a lot of training from a boarding house for what they classify it as overseas pupils, how we can help with overseas pupils. But obviously, without being horrible, the most market that we have are from Hong Kong and from China. So the training that we have are for those students, and they give us advice about how sometimes they would not look you in the eye.
Local customs.
But we rarely have training for anything else, any other culture, race, gender. It tends to be about what they put in a neat little bracket with overseas students. So boarding schools definitely need training on how to deal with students, perhaps to make sure that they're feeling safe and they're feeling welcome. They're not feeling that they're being ostracized or dealt with differently. For example, I can remember my first year in boarding. One of the biggest questions I got asked was, how often can we shower? And I'm like, well, you can shower as often as you like. Obviously, if you start to smell, I might have an issue with it. You shower. If you want to shower twice a day, you go for it. And you could see one of the questions was, am I going to be made to shower and wash my hair every day?
Because we can't. And I've had that quite a few times in conversations with boarding staff about, actually, there's some actually now recognizing, they said to children, you have to wash your hair every day. And if I wash my hair every day, I would have cotton wool, I would have puffs, and it'd be dry and it'd be broken. So I know that I wash my hair. The oils I put in it every day maintains it, and the natural oils come out. So I wash it once a week, say, for example, no longer than that. But the point I'm also making is about what you've just mentioned there about just understanding it in the sense of, if there's anyone listening to this, so also, if I was in my boarding house, I'd want to see magazines that reflect me. There's a really good magazine called Coco Girl that's just been published, and I was thinking about it actually this morning, that I'm going to potentially really promote them with boarding schools. So children, or any child, can see a magazine with brown people in it too. Beautiful brown people in it as well, i.e. brown people in ordinary times, because we don't see that. And actually, I know eventually they're doing work with all children, but the point is, we all need to look at things that make us feel good about ourselves. And you take it for granted that you can go to Sainsbury's or anywhere, you know, and get a magazine for a child, but there's no brown children in it. And likewise, even cards. So again, boarders, please, house parents, please make an effort to get a card that reflects the child, who they look like. So I know in my family, I've made a big point for myself as a mother that all my children, I've got 2 children, but all their birthdays have had little cards that reflected them, and it makes them feel beautiful. I know, even if I couldn't get one, I'll colour it in brown with my little crayon. So I knew for her it was important about you are beautiful, rather than I'm giving you a little message here, a little mixed message that actually everyone's peach and peach is beautiful. So please contact me or Kerry if you want to talk about this more, because we could put on a webinar for you for half an hour to talk, a free complimentary one, to talk to you about having that real safe space where we can talk about understanding and meeting the needs of all children, in a way that they can feel themselves and feel kind of comfortable in their own skin and hair.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you very much.
No problem.
See you later on then. Bye.
Bye-bye.